When a Korean adults-only film can be released in theaters and even break box office records, you know this movie must be truly extraordinary. Tazza. The hidden card was cut countless times before it was finally allowed to be released. To heighten the tension and excitement of the story, the director even added scenes where they stripped down and faced off at the gambling table. The story not only features intense fight scenes, but also reveals the hidden greed and betrayal within human nature. Alright, let's get straight into the movie. Because of his uncle's influence, De-gil had an exceptional talent for card tricks since childhood. During his school years, he won many things by cheating at games. So, after graduation, it was only natural that Daegil became a gambler. At one gambling match, the appearance of a woman instantly captivated Daegil.
어디다가 발을 이 집에 옷 똑바로 안 입어? 눈 깔어.
젊은이, 정직하게 일을 해서 돈을 벌란 말이야. 응?
좀 들어가라고!
With just one glance, he completely lost interest in the game, pretending to take a phone call as he followed her out. Carrying flowers, he went to find Mina, hoping to get to know her.
시작한다.
뭘? 형님! 오세요!
Even though he got beaten black and blue, Daegil still felt overjoyed. Meanwhile, his grandfather secretly took all the family's money and hurried to the casino. By coincidence, Daegil, who was on his way home, discovered this. And as expected, Dong-sik, who had been set up, quickly lost all of the family's property. Devastated, Dong-sik began shouting in the casino, soon attracting the attention of its overseer, Ghost. In the next moment, Ghost dragged Dong-sik into a warehouse and gave him a brutal beating. To put an end to Dong-sik's bad habit, Ghost ordered his men to strip off his pants and prepare to take a photo. Just then, Ghost received a phone call and turned away to answer it. Having just been slapped, Dong-sik had no choice but to obey and stood under the bright lights. As the henchman was about to take the photo, Daegil arrived just in time to save his grandfather.
나 6천 날렸다. 네 엄마 4년 적금 문 거. 나 어떡하냐, 대길아.
But before Daegil could take his grandfather away, Ghost returned unexpectedly. And so, the moment they met, a fight broke out. In the scuffle, Daegil accidentally stabbed Ghost with a knife. Since this was serious trouble, his mother gave him some money and told him to leave town for a while. Before leaving, Daegil went to Mina's house, unwilling to part, and confessed his feelings to her with deep emotion. He also told Mina that when he made a name for himself, he would return in glory, marry her, and give her happiness.
청혼이냐?
그렇지.
이렇게 귀엽네.
키스할까?
아니.
다음에 하면 되지 뭐. 나중에 하자. 차 조심하고.
야, 함대길. 또 남대문 열렸다. 인사 잘하신다.
야, 어민아. 나 너한테 청혼한 거다.
Though the confession seemed impulsive, it left a deep impression on Mina's heart. And so, Daegil rode off on his motorcycle, beginning his journey through life. Through his family's connections, Daegil found his cousin Jjari in the city. Seeing Jjari's expensive watch, Daegil was full of envy, realizing that Jjari must be doing very well. With Jjari's introduction, the boss Kojang agreed to give Daegil a job as a casino attendant. But unexpectedly, even as an attendant, Daegil's looks and physique were enough to make wealthy women swoon. Every time they saw him, they willingly handed over chips just to tip the handsome Daegil.
In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kinda groovy.
Then, a stunning beauty appeared before him, leaving Daegil dumbstruck. Fresh from the countryside, he had never seen such elegance and grace. With just a glance or a simple gesture, the woman bewitched him so completely that he stood frozen for a long time. And this woman became the one who would lead Daegil down a path of no return. If not for Jjari's interruption, Daegil might not have snapped out of it so quickly. Hearing that Daegil could play cards, Kojang called him and Jjari into the office. That night, an important guest was coming, and since they were short on staff, Kojang wanted Daegil to step in. Then he took out their payment. Seeing the piles of cash, De-gil was immediately tempted, and so began De-gil's very first real gambling match. But Jjari was caught cheating by a man at the table. At the critical moment, De-gil stepped in, covering up the mistake. This display of skill made Jjari feel a sudden sense of threat to his status. In the end, with the two working together, they easily won all the money. This match made De-gil's name known, and challengers came one after another, and as expected, every single one of them lost their money to De-gil. Before long, Jjari's fears came true. Because of Daegil's outstanding performance, which brought in huge profits, Kojang eventually replaced Jjari with Daegil. As time passed, Daegil's life transformed. From a shabby rental room, he moved into a mansion in a golden district, achieving both fame and fortune. One day, while going out, Daegil ran into his goddess, Ji-yeon, who complained that she was losing all her money and begged Daegil to teach her card tricks. Faced with her heartfelt request, the kind-hearted Daegil couldn't refuse and agreed to teach her. To thank him, Ji-yeon invited Daegil to her house for drinks, but after drinking heavily, Daegil mistook Ji-yeon for Mina, and so they spent a passionate night together. That day, the company set its sights on a big client, a top tycoon, so they held an emergency meeting. Arriving late, Daegil curiously asked who the target was. When he learned it was Ji-yeon, he was stunned. He tried to withdraw, but Kojang silenced him immediately. They believed only a handsome man could lure Ji-yeon in. The scene shifted, and they were at the gambling table. Their plan was to let Ji-yeon win at first, giving her a taste of victory. Then, once the bait was set, they would take everything from her in one strike. Watching Ji-yeon sink deeper into the trap, Daegil's face was filled with worry. After nearly a month of this scheme, the time finally came for the final move.
화끈하게 사업도 이루어줘. 이번 일 꼬이면 우리 파산이다.
That night, in heavy rain, Daegil rushed to Ji-yeon, confessing everything and warning her not to come to the casino the next day. And just as he had hoped, Ji-yeon didn't show up for several days in a row. Everyone else panicked, fearing she had uncovered their plan, their faces full of unease. Only Daegil remained calm, smoking his cigarette.
함대길이.
예?
나 찬밥에 라면 하나만.
Just as Daegil was bringing the food to the door, Kojang mysteriously grabbed him, dragged him toward the casino, and even snatched the tray right out of his hands. Looking confused, Daegil pushed the door open and stepped inside, only to be surprised to see that Ji-yeon had come again. Daegil couldn't understand why Ji-yeon would knowingly walk into a trap.
20억 놔도 돼요?
When everyone saw Ji-yeon placing such high bets, they secretly rejoiced, exchanging glances and preparing to finish her off in a single round. As the group kept raising the stakes like crazy, the game quickly reached match point. To make cheating easier, the deputy manager pretended to light a cigarette before the deal, using the distraction to switch the hole cards under the table into a pair of sevens. Everyone thought the win was in their hands and started grinning in delight. But what they didn't expect was that Ji-yeon had already learned Daegil's sleight of hand, switching the cards into a pair of nines.
136 찍고 9땡. 어머, 나 진짜 9땡인가 봐, 언니. 언니, 나 9땡. 어떡해! 언니, 대박 났다, 대박 났어!
Because of Ji-yeon's victory, the company collapsed, and they all lost their jobs. After Daegil became unemployed, Jjari approached him, suggesting they team up. After that, Jjari took Daegil to a casino, where the boss was Dong-sik, a notorious local thug. Neither of them realized how dangerous Dong-sik was, and they even thought they could make some easy money off him. At that moment, a woman walked in. Fate loved to toy with people. At Daegil's lowest point, he unexpectedly ran into his first love, Mina.
둘이 알아요?
저 아세요?
아니요. 처음 보는 사람 처음 봐서.
이쁘다 그랬잖아 내가.
Soon the gambling match began. At first, everything went smoothly, and with Jjari's cooperation, Daegil quickly won stacks of money from Dong-sik. But when Mina got up to open a window, her revealing outfit caught Daegil's attention. Strangely, from that moment on, Daegil's luck completely collapsed, and within a few rounds, he had lost every bit of cash he had won. By the end, under Dong-sik's manipulation, Daegil and Jjari had racked up a massive debt of 900 million won. Realizing they had been deceived, The two desperately cried out for their bodyguards. But Dong-sik's men had already taken them out minutes earlier. Under Dong-sik's threats, De-gil and Jjari had no choice but to sign an IOU. But Dong-sik had no intention of letting De-gil go, sending thugs to knock him unconscious in an alley and drag him to a rundown operating room. When De-gil awoke from his coma, he found his body extremely weak. One of his kidneys had been removed. In just a few days, Daegil had fallen from the clouds to the depths of despair. At that moment, he felt like a complete failure. Staring at the arrogant Dong-sik, Daegil's heart was filled with despair and bitterness. Just when Daegil was at rock bottom, Mina suddenly came to him. She not only handed him a bag full of cash, but also revealed a shocking truth. That gambling match had been a setup by Jjari and Dong-sik to frame Daegil. While Daegil was distracted, Jjari secretly switched cards with Dong-sik, causing Daegil to keep losing until he owed a fortune and lost a kidney. And the reason was simply because Daegil had stolen Jjari's spotlight at the company. Hearing the truth, Daegil could hardly accept it. Since Dong-sik still had no plans to spare him, Daegil had no choice but to take the money Mina gave him and go on the run. Now, the only thought in his mind was revenge. Because of his injured hand, Daegil was exposed while trying to cheat at another gambling table.
장난질을 리듬을 타가면서 해야지. 매 순간순간이 구라지리고.
씨발놈이 뭐라는 거야? 신새끼가.
구땡 주면 좋아할 줄 알았나? 얘는 6땡에서 8땡 사이지. 8땡이다. 창의력 없는 새끼야. 니는 장땡 만들어가 판쓰리 하려고 그랬지.
Realizing the danger, he tried to run, but was tightly held down by two men. If his hole cards turned out to be a pair of tens, then he would be finished. But when the man flipped them over, it turned out to be a small pair instead.
장땡이네.
That's when Daegil suddenly realized the man before him must be a master con artist. Though they suspected the man had also cheated, they couldn't find any evidence. Recognizing the man's skill, Daegil clung to him like a lifeline, begging to become his student and learn his techniques. Because Daegil knew this might be his only chance. Only by becoming stronger could he make those who harmed him pay. Reluctantly, the man taught Daegil one trick: how to read cards by observing the pupils of the eyes.
동공 눈은 거짓말은 못해요. 땡기는 거 봤을 때 확 벌어지고.
야, 이 등신아, 너 또.
싫은 걸 보잖아? 그럼 확 쪼그라들게 돼 있어. 네 고추처럼.
Unexpectedly, in the casino, even the tiniest shift in a person's expression could be turned into a way to cheat. With his natural talent for gambling, Daegil quickly mastered this skill. Using the technique taught by Gwangryol, he began sweeping through casinos, raking in massive winnings. That day, Daegil curiously asked Gwangryol a question. If someone stripped off all their clothes, how could they possibly hide a card?
먹어야지.
에이, 뭐 딱딱한 거 어떻게 먹어요?
야, 타짜가 못 먹는 게 어디 있냐?
Just as the two were discussing, a man suddenly appeared in front of their car. It was none other than Jjari. Seeing the enemy who had betrayed him, Daegil's anger surged, and he picked up a stick, ready to teach Jjari a lesson. But when he learned that Dong-sik had also betrayed Jjari, Daegil softened. And from Jjari's mouth, Daegil heard heartbreaking news. At that time, in order to save Daegil's life, Mina had been sold by Dong-sik to another casino. Realizing that Mina had suffered because of him, Daegil was overwhelmed with guilt and self-blame. So, ignoring the danger, he resolutely went to that casino. To his shock, the boss of the casino turned out to be Ghost, the man he had once stabbed. Truly, enemies meet on a narrow road. Seeing his foe, Daegil, Ghost lunged at him with a knife.
미나 어딨어? 허민아, 나한테 팔아.
If the boss had been someone else, perhaps he would have agreed to Daegil's request. But unfortunately, it was Ghost. And naturally, he would never agree so easily. He brought Daegil to Mina, tied both their hands to the gambling table, and set the rules. He wanted them to play, and the winner would have to cut off the other's hand. It was obvious Ghost was just trying to humiliate Daegil, to watch him suffer. By reading Mina's pupils, Daegil locked onto the hole card. Sure enough, as expected, Mina lost to Daegil. Seeing Daegil's burning desire to win, Mina sadly stretched out her palm.
이게 지금 뭐 하자는 상황이래? 이긴 놈이 손 찍는 거라며. 누구 손 찍건 이긴 놈 맘이지. 이 새끼가 끝까지 사람 열받게 하네.
In that moment, Daegil's love for Mina reignited. He didn't care whether she had changed, he only knew he could never let her be harmed again. Daegil's choice made Mina's heart ache, and she quickly tore her own clothing to bandage his wound.
나 담배 좀. 나 이 시부라 어린 년놈들이 신뢰는 금연인 거 몰라.
Ghost never imagined that instead of making Daegil look foolish, he had ended up embarrassing himself. Feeling humiliated, Ghost would never let Daegil and Mina go so easily. He came up with excuse after excuse, refusing to release them. At the critical moment, Gwangryol arrived just in time, and only after throwing Ghost several 100 million won did he barely manage to get Daegil and Mina out. While they were eating, Mina revealed her painful story to Daegil. Not long after Daegil had left, disaster struck Mina. One day, when Mina went to the casino to find her brother, she was spotted by Dong-sik. With just one look, Dong-sik set his sights on her, so he secretly framed Mina's brother, leaving him with crushing debt. To help her brother repay what he owed, Mina fell into Dong-sik's trap, allowing him to take advantage of her.
나 더러운 년이야. 좋은 여자 만나.
목숨 살린 여자보다 더 좋은 여자를 어디서 만나?
From this moment on, Daegil and Mina were finally officially together. Meanwhile, upon learning that Mina had been sold off by Ghost, Dong-sik flew into a rage and sent his men to capture her. Sensing the danger, Daegil tried to stop them, but quickly realized he was no match, and in just a few moves, he was beaten to the ground. To protect Mina, Gwangryol rushed onto someone else's turf. To their surprise, that thug came after them alone. Seeing their own man being beaten, the others refused to stand by, charging in without hesitation to fight the man. But shockingly, they were all knocked down in just a few swift moves. At the crucial moment, Gwangryol leapt forward, wrapping his arms tightly around the man, shoving him with all his might toward the edge of the floor. The belatedly arriving Daegil happened to witness the tragic scene of the two falling. Looking at the dying Gwangryol, Daegil was consumed with grief and sorrow. At that moment, Daegil's thirst for revenge burned even hotter, not only to reclaim justice for himself but also to avenge his mentor's death. The scene shifts, and Daegil's path of revenge begins. That day, while Dong-sik was hiding money, Daegil secretly planted a tracker inside his car. Then, after Dong-sik left, they stole half of the cash and left the other half behind, using it to report Dong-sik for bribery. Soon, with his protection gone, Dong-sik became a wanted man hunted by the police. Dong-sik was furious and, in a rage, recklessly drove his car towards them in an attempt to hit them. After that, he took all his money and fled to his friend Agui. What he didn't know was that Daegil had already hidden trackers inside the stacks of cash. Not long after, Daegil arrived with Gwangchul, who had just been released from prison. And the one who received them was the most formidable con artist, Agui. At that moment, neither Daegil nor Gwangchul realized who they were facing or how dangerous he truly was.
그리 어떻게 들어오셨는가?
장동식이란 놈 죽이러 왔습니다.
장동식이? 답심리 똥식이?
Clearly, they had no idea about Agui's connection to Dong-sik. Just then, Dong-sik stepped out. Seeing his enemy, Daegil was furious.
씨발 새끼야!
After learning about the feud between them, Agui suggested a solution, letting them settle it through a deadly gambling match.
병하게.
그딴 걸 왜 하자는 겁니까?
다들 원하는 거의 마지막 판 아니야? 여기까지들 온 거 보니까 지긋지긋한 인연 끊어버리고 싶을 거인데 있어야지? 그러니까 참가비로 10억씩. 왜? 목숨값으로 너무 적어? 20억으로 올려볼까? 이기면 논하는 거고 진 놈은 지옥 구경 가는 거고?
The scene shifts again, and the death match begins. There were 5 people at the table: Mina, Daegil, Ji-yeon, Dong-sik, and Agui. Before the game began, Dong-sik set a condition. Everyone had to take off their clothes to prevent anyone from hiding cards, and Ji-yeon also set a rule that the cards must be changed every 10 rounds to prevent anyone from marking them. After the bodyguards left, they removed their coats, and the deadly game officially began.
일곱 끝.
여덟 끝.
여덟 끝.
여덟 땡.
어우, 샹.
During the game, De-gil didn't raise his bets. Instead, he carefully studied everyone's tricks. His plan was to figure out their methods and then strike at the end. Through sharp observation, he noticed that Dong-sik was cheating with glasses that revealed card values. But De-gil didn't care about such petty tricks because he could see the bottom cards with his naked eyes.
천,
아귀 1-4 5 끝.
2천 받고
장동식 3땡.
1억,
1억 받고.
장동식 승리.
2억,
2억 더.
메이드 5억. 확인하려면 3억 더 넣으시게.
따라가겠습니다. 3등?
4등.
Then both De-gil and Dong-sik were stunned as they realized Agui had quietly switched the cards right under their watch. Seeing their doubtful expressions, Agui stood up and demonstrated his ability to everyone.
우리 미친 아가씨는 가보에 죽어버렸네. 그제? 자네는 매주에 7.
Agui, just like De-gil, could read the cards with his bare eyes. When he walked over to Ji-yeon, he exposed her cheating method on the spot. And with that, Ji-yeon was dragged out by the guards. What awaited her next was an unforgettable experience. After that, Daegil exposed Dong-sik's trick and asked to check his glasses. But Dong-sik refused, claiming he needed them for his poor eyesight. Seeing his arrogant attitude, Ghost lost his patience and stepped in with a gun. Seeing the weapon in Dong-sik's hands, Daegil had no choice but to give up the idea of checking his glasses. The game resumed. Once Daegil had figured out everyone's tricks, he finally made his move. He passed a prepared set of cards to Mina, deliberately showing the edge to signal that he was about to cheat. Then, using his sleight of hand, he dealt himself 3 bottom cards. Taking a sip of his drink, he secretly swallowed the cards. After hiding them, he smoothly continued his plan. Using the distraction of lighting a cigarette, he pretended to slip the cards to Mina. As expected, Agui immediately noticed the move.
처녀 빤스 속에 왜 손이 들락거리냐?
누가 빤스에 손을 넣었다 그래?
스톱! 손목 날아가요.
Both Agui and Dong-sik were convinced Daegil had cheated, hiding the cards in Mina's underwear. Without another word, Agui covered Daegil's card with a cup.
해건들지 마. 손모가지 날아가 본 게. 너는 나한테 굿땡을 줬을 것이요. 장 사장은
8땡 주셨네요.
그리고 너는 장땡 잡고 입한 묵으려 그랬지. 내가 빙다리 핫바지로 보냐 이 새끼야?
이 아저씨가 술을 많이 자셨나?
배팅들 하셔야지.
자, 빙 갑니다.
내가 장땡이라는 거에 내 돈 모두하고 내 모가지를 건다.
펌이나 빤스 안에 화투 한 장 있다에 내 돈 전부하고 목숨 겁니다.
너는 무엇을 골라?
싫다면
싫으면 시집가 이 새끼야.
Under their threats, they were forced to go all in. Agui thought victory was his, but after hearing what Daegil said, his confidence collapsed.
전에도 이러다 발전이셨다면서요? 지리산 적도한테.
It turned out Daegil was actually Goni's nephew. Agui grew fearful, because years ago Goni had injured his arm in the exact same way. When the cards were revealed, Daegil did not have a pair of 10s at all. Agui and Dong-sik had been played, and Mina, under their watchful eyes, removed her underwear to prove they hadn't hidden any cards. Agui and Dong-sik had been completely fooled by Daegil's tricks. However, after losing their money, Agui and Dong-sik actually started playing dirty. The next second, and Daegil's group had also come prepared. In despair, Dong-sik grabbed an axe and tried to fight back. But he was quickly gunned down. Just as they were about to gather the money and leave, Gwangchul suddenly betrayed them. taking all the cash for himself. This ridiculous scene made Agui laugh because he knew all too well. This was the true nature of people when faced with money. Mina couldn't understand why her brother had turned out this way, but in truth, Guangchul had his own hidden reasons. What they couldn't understand was that after Guangchul took the cash, he scattered it all over the city and then died in the car from excessive blood loss. Until then, Daegil and Mina had no idea why he had done such a thing. Only when they received a package one day did they finally learn the truth. It turned out that Guangchul knew once they took the money, Agui would never let them go. So he deliberately pretended to kidnap the two in front of Agui and took all the cash away. And scattering the money in the city center was his way of preventing anyone from tracing the exact amount. Looking at the money their brother had given his life for, Mina felt both guilty and moved. And this money also allowed Mina and Daegil to completely break free from the shadow of the casino and live the peaceful life they had long been waiting for. The success of Tazza. The hidden card lies not only in its thrilling story, but also in its profound themes. It is not merely a film about gambling, but a deeper exploration of desire, revenge, and redemption. In the materialistic world of the casino, everyone is driven by greed, willing to abandon all morals for money and power. Daegil once sank into despair, chasing glory and wealth in the gambling halls. But he lost everything, and only through his suffering and darkness did he finally see the ugliness of human desire. Revenge became his drive to survive, but along the way, he realized that true redemption does not come from vengeance, but from awakening within and reevaluating life itself. Through Daegil's journey, the film warns us to beware of the traps of desire and to cherish the people and goodness in our lives. In this world full of temptation, only by holding on to our inner boundaries and refusing to be controlled by greed can we become the true winners. All right, that's it for today. See you next time.